everybody, thanks for watching our channel today. It's a Wednesday. We like to talk about ranks. My preliminary Week 6 ranks are scrolling on the left side of the screen. You can check them out as the show goes along. I thought I'd pick out two guys. One whose rank I just don't like all that much and think should be higher, but I couldn't get him higher, and I'll tell you why. And then one guy who should be as high as he is, and he's great, and I'm excited to show you some of his film to talk about why he's great. Let's start with the former. It's Russell Wilson. If you told me that in Week 6, we're going to London, we're playing against a not very good Raider defense, I would expect Russell Wilson would be an obvious top 5 fantasy play. That is not how it's working out. I feel dumb. I have him number 14 among quarterbacks for this week. I'm going to talk about why. I think we're getting a very conservative system, and we're getting some numbers from last week especially that maybe are masking how conservative this team has been. So I'm kind of advising you to not use Russell Wilson if you can avoid it this week. Let's show you some film about why. I think it's first important to note, as far as the quarterback play goes, Wilson hasn't suddenly become a different dude. You're still seeing him improvise. You're still seeing on a 3rd and 10 what we know about Russell Wilson, what makes him great. A little alley-oop here. 3 guys closing in on me. I'm not going to be able to get the first down myself. Well, here you go, Tyler Lockett. And he's still doing this. From the Rams 4, let's face it, I could have grabbed this video from any season of Wilson's career. Don't tell me you see a lack of mobility, a lack of willingness to extend plays. This is vintage. It's what he's always done. No, he's not scrambling as much, and that could be by design, and that's frustrating, but just this Sunday proved, he's absolutely capable of continuing to do this, and if he chooses to run more, he could run more. Hey, just a quick break to say thank you to BetQL for sponsoring. If you're someone who likes to bet the games, BetQL is an app that's a research tool that will really help. You can download it for free at betql.co, or you can go to the App Store on Apple or Google Play. You can get information like, well, how is the line moved? Where's the public? Lots and lots of other stats that will make you a more informed better. As I like to say, a better. And also, if you use the promo code Harris, once you download BetQL, you'll get free access to all the games for 3 days to make sure that you really like it. So we thank BetQL very much for sponsoring. Go get that app. Let's get back to it. Back at it with Russell Wilson, and here's his throwing game log so far. This is a hard way to make a living as a fantasy quarterback if you're not going to have a lot of rushing yards too. Seattle's 2-3. Wilson doesn't have a 300-yard passing day yet in this world of 400-yard passing days. Past 3 weeks, as Seattle has been in it or ahead of it on the scoreboard, he hasn't topped 26 attempts, and he's played okay. He just hasn't been asked to do as much as normal. And if you used him Sunday, he's made it look okay, usually, with touchdowns. I don't know how those touchdowns happen, but we just saw one of them. And here's a second one to David Moore. And pay attention to the corner here, Marcus Peters. Moore is lined up at the bottom, and Peters has man coverage on him. So the route is a sluggo, slant and go. As we move the play forward, watch Wilson pump the ball slightly, subtly, right when Moore makes the fake of the slant, and watch Marcus Peters jump out of his own skin trying to jump the route. Marcus Peters likes to look into the backfield. He's a risk taker. And twice on Sunday, Wilson was able to take advantage and get a long touchdown. This is a terrible play by a corner when you know there's no help. You're on an island. Good job by Wilson. Way to scheme it up by the Seahawks. But if we're throwing it only 25 times a week, can we be sure we're going to keep getting this? This touchdown to Tyler Lockett. He's lined up at the top of the screen, covered once again by Marcus Peters. And this one doesn't even have any sort of amazing move. This is a post. But at the top of the route, before he heads to the post, pretty obvious, once again, Peters has his eye on Wilson and loses Lockett, and he's gone. Peeking into the backfield by Marcus Peters, it led to 2 Wilson touchdowns. He had 3, 2 of them were because of Marcus Peters. 2 out of the 3 touchdowns and 69 out of his 198 yards. And again, my concern is this feels pretty specific to the situation, specific to the defender, idiosyncratic. The moment it doesn't happen, do we go right back to Wilson finishing 20th in QB fantasy points in any given week? And really, that's the largest point to be made, that the Seahawks, in their best case, seem to be a running team. As you watch these ranks that are scrolling, check out those 2 Seattle running backs, Chris Carson and Mike Davis. It's not like I love them because there's two of them, but they're usable entirely because of this. In these past 3 games, when they've been able to run the offense that they want to run, well, it's been running. Carson and Davis, they've been more of a focal point. Wilson himself has maxed out on 4 carries. He really has no organized runs and not all that many scrambles, and he's been much more of a caretaker than we ever have seen him be. And at some point, these teams are trying to tell us what they are, and we should be listening. Now, none of this means I've completely lost hope for Wilson. We could get a positive game script against the Raiders. He goes out and throws 40 times, and everything I just said sort of fades into the ether. But, I mean, they are sort of telling us what they want to be, right? And it's not necessarily the choice that I would make if I were Brian Schottenheimer, if I were the offensive coordinator. I would want to use my best player in his best way, but I get it. I mean, they've had concerns about the offensive line, and they want to keep the guy healthy, and for as long as they're ahead in games or competitive in games, or they maybe want to shorten games, I understand why they are potentially going more as a running team. Like I said, we could get this Raider game in London and not worry about it anymore. He could be terrific, but for the moment, it's crazy to say, and I'm holding on to him for sure, but if I have one of those top 13 options ahead of Wilson in my ranks, I would still be benching Russell Wilson and missing that first big passing output and then hoping for better into the future. You know who I'm hoping for better for now, and I think I'm going to keep getting better for? Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggity. You may remember from the podcast that I'm kind of a bit of a fan. Let's take a look at Stefon Diggs' tape. Diggs is my number 12 receiver this week. Loved the way the Vikings came out firing, trying to get the ball in his hands on Sunday against the Eagles. Get the ball in our playmakers' hands. These plays I'm showing you, this series of 4 at the beginning here, they all happen in the first 6 minutes of this game on Sunday. And the point to take away here is not that every single play is a huge gain, but if the defense is going to give him room, we're just going to throw it to him. I mean, this one is surely an audible in the red zone. Diggs' man way off of him, playing off, because he's quick, because they're scared of him. So just get it in his hands, and eventually he'll make a play. Oh, and make a play he will several times in this game. You know, on my podcast, we talk about the Antonio Brown phylum, the guys who are something like Brown. They belong to the same category in terms of speed and quickness and potential to just blow the lid off. And with quicks like this, Diggs is in the phylum. We'll take a look at this post, which is a great result. Almost a touchdown, as Stefon Diggs winds up telling the world right there. Oh, this close to a touchdown. But if we take it back and show the replay, look at the route. What you should notice is that Diggs is really selling the outside shoulder because he knows as he approaches the defensive back, he can turn the defender around as he hits to the inside, sort of getting him leaning to the outside. He's going to have to spin around to get to the inside. That gets you open. This guy just gets open. And this one against the Eagles, this is a great throw by Kirk Cousins under pressure, but it's an even better catch. And best of all is the route. I want to pay attention to Diggs' footwork when he gets to the top of the route. So he knows that eventually he has to get to the out, right? He's got to sell a bunch of stuff, but he's got to get to the out. So he's selling 2 separate things on this route. First, he's selling the go, and then he shoves the defender with his left arm as though he's running sort of a deep in. And then he stops, and suddenly he's just by himself. And it's great acceleration to get to that ball. It's all just incredible. To get that separation, to be that quick, to have that much precision in your footwork. You know, when you hear people like me rave about Stefon Diggs, this is the kind of thing we're seeing. So, as you may have noticed, as the ranks have been scrolling, I have Adam Thielen even higher than Diggs. It's sort of a 100-yard game streak that I don't want to bet into. And he's been a little safer. He's been making plays down the field, just sort of been a little bit more consistent. But it's coming for Stefon Diggs. I have both Vikings receivers as number 1 fantasy receivers. Diggs is in your lineup every single week. And like I said, Thielen has been the one who's made some plays lately, but with abilities like this, and frankly, more ability than Adam Thielen has, and more safety attention than Adam Thielen gets, the lid is going to get blown off, and soon, by Stefon Diggs multiple times this year. If you can trade for him on this sort of streak where Thielen looks like the man, you should absolutely do it. He's spectacular, and he's going to be great for the rest of 2018. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button, write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button, and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.